The Iran conflict triggered a 44% drop in transaction volumes and 30% in the Dubai real estate equity index. We are now in a very different environment, very different scenario. Tell our audience, what does this gap mean?
Simple words, corrected because
So you think this reset is healthy, or is there something which is really shaking the foundations?
we did not initiate anything. UAE did not initiate anything at all. UAE is one of the most neutral nations on the world. It was the other parties who were involved, and we were just a part of a collateral damage conflict. That's it. So people who are genuinely interested are still interested. It's just that they have postponed their decision, which is very obvious.
What would you tell to people who are on the fence right now?
Don't sit on the fence right now. This is the time to act. When the markets are going up, people are like, we'll wait. When the market is going down, people are like, we'll wait. So when do you want to do it?
I will ask you this question, and to make it concrete for the audience, one asset type, one area in Dubai, and a time horizon. Where should we be putting capital right now?
Uh,
All right, Mr. Solanki,
yes, sir.
I'm very glad to see that you're safe and in one piece. Welcome to Mumbai.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
If people do not know who Mr. Solanki is, read the description below or just go through our previous podcast. You'll get an idea. I'm not going to waste my time or your time trying to explain it to you guys in this video. Do your homework. I have a lot of questions to ask him. First thing I want to start is a very simple thing. 22 consecutive quarters of price growth through 2025 in Dubai. We are now in a very different environment, very different scenario. How would you describe where the market stands today in simple, clean, plain terms?
So simple words, corrected, which we were waiting for because everything was just going up. So it was not the right way to correct, but yes, the market stands corrected right now. There is a price correction in various departments, various projects. The launches have reduced, of course, due to the conflict. But keeping that in mind, we are seeing some signs of rebound now when it comes to, because the ceasefire has been announced and a lot of positive things are happening now. So I think only the month of March was an eye opener for a lot of people. But overall, the market is getting stable now. And it will rebound not immediately, within a few months. But there is a price correction, definitely.
How much?
If you believe the news channels, 50%, 60%, which is total rubbish.
50 or 60?
It's rubbish, as I said.
Okay.
I have a lot to say on that. But there is, we can say approximately anywhere between 5 to 20%.
Do you call that a correction?
See, now again, correction is a very different terminology. If you have bought with a speculative purpose in your mind, where you've been sold as in, I will sell this on handover at 40% premium, 50% premium, like most of the clients who did not buy from us have done that, they are in a soup right now. If you would have bought it with an intention that I'm going to hold this property for 5 years, 10 years, they really don't have to worry. But yes, correction in the terms of the developer offers are coming up right now. They are giving discounts because everybody wants to have a sale. But people who bought it 5 years back, 4 years back, they are seeing a loss in profit. I bought something for say $1 million, and earlier in December, Jan, I was getting say $1.5 million of that. Probably today I'm getting 1.35. So for them, it's a loss in profit. But for a lot of people who are getting handovers this year, yes, it's going to be a little challenging for them.
So you think this reset is healthy? Or is there something which is really shaking the foundations of Dubai real estate?
See, foundation definitely not, because the fundamentals are very, very strong. The dynamism is still there. And as I said, the government itself is not looking at a 5-year, 10-year horizon. They have plans till 2040. So that's another 14 years from now. And this was not started like after COVID. The growth that you saw in Dubai after COVID was actually planned much in like early 2000s when the freehold communities were started. They had this vision in their head that they want to make Dubai as the best city in the world, and they reached to that mark as well. If you see last year, they had a target of 1 trillion dirhams worth of real estate transactions by 2033. and they did 917 billion only last year.
Okay.
So it's like reaching your target literally 8 years before you set a deadline. So it was built on strong fundamentals. Good developers today also are very strong right now. They are not offering any major discounts on the pricing, no flexibility of payment plans as well, because their fundamentals are very strong, and they are very remotely bothered by this. Any new developer who started business in the last 1-2 years, of course, is going to be affected because nobody saw this coming. But overall, the market fundamentals are very strong. The government is pumping in a lot of money still. In spite of the conflict, the government is still pouring a lot of money in the infrastructure. New metro line has been announced. It's called the Gold Metro Line, which is going to be operational within a couple of years. So the government is not stopping. I mean, what has been shown over here is a very different and a very sad story, which I hate. But we are living our lives pretty normally over there.
The Iran conflict triggered a 44% drop in transaction volumes and 30% drop in the Dubai real estate equity index. Physical properties dropped down only by 4 to 5%. The prices of actual properties went down only by 4 to 5%. Tell our audience, what does this gap means?
See, first of all, I'll tell you the index and the market are very different. It's like the Tesla stock price is corrected by 20%, so people are expecting the Tesla to be 20% cheaper. It's very simple. It does not happen. The real estate index is purely based on volatility. And of course, during crisis, during conflict, the volatility increases or decreases. So the index will again come back to its normal position. Prices 4%. I'm happy to hear 4%, but there are certain sectors where the prices have dropped more than 4% as well. So the transaction, see, if you want to buy a property in Dubai and when there's a conflict, you would, wait on the fence that let the conflict settle and then I'll buy. So of course the volumes have reduced because international people used to buy properties in Dubai. Locals also used to buy. But nobody had a clarity of what's happening because we were just like a collateral damage to this whole situation. We did not initiate anything. UAE did not initiate anything at all. UAE is one of the most neutral nations in the world. So it was the other parties who were involved. And we were just a part of a collateral damage conflict. That's it.
Okay. You and me, our companies work together closely with a lot of NRIs, a lot of people from the Indian diaspora who are investors. Some also want to move into Dubai over a long period of time, maybe in a 1 year to 5 year, they're planning to move to Dubai. And there has been a lot of conversations over the past few weeks. What are we actually hearing from our clients right now? And how does that compare to what we were hearing 6 months ago?
See, luckily, and this is being a very candid response, luckily, none of my clients, or our clients rather, called up to check on what is happening about my property. Because when we sold this property to them, we always gave them a 5-10 year horizon. So they were not bothered about the property pricing because they never thought of a short-term investment. So they were all very sound in terms of the investment. I think most of the clients who called us were only like to check whether we are okay or not. So luckily that aspect was completely taken care of. Right now also there are people whom we are in touch with who have the money. They are just waiting. They have not, completely negated the opportunity that we don't want to invest. They are just waiting for clarity, which everybody is. And I think today we are sitting in the month of April and a lot of clarity has already come. Of course, on the back door, a lot of things are happening. But a lot of people still are interested and they are waiting for clarity of situation and then they will take their call again. So I have concluded 3 to 4 transactions during the conflict. Prime conflict time, I'm talking about March. So what are those people idiots? They don't know anything. Why would they want to put money in a war zone if it was? So people are just waiting and watching, and already people who have the money are waiting for a good distress deal, which is the so-called belief that a lot of people have that prices have gone down by 40-50% and I'll get a property at a throwaway prices, which is not going to happen. So people who are genuinely interested are still interested. It's just that they have postponed their decision, which is very, very obvious. I cannot blame them also. Even if I was in their place, I would also be going through the similar mindset. But I have bought a property during the conflict. So my mindset is a little different.
What would you tell to people who are on the fence right now? Would you tell them to be on the fence or would you tell them to buy now? take that chance.
This is the time again. If you miss out on this opportunity, especially good projects. See, we first of all don't advocate, developers whom we do not know personally. So forget about that. So I have literally filtered 50-60% of the market already. But good developers like MR, Nakhil, Damak, Dubai Properties, Dubai Holdings, this is the opportunity because the kind of pricing that you'll get right now, it's very difficult. You'll get it once the market rebounds. And especially for overseas investors, see, buying a ready property in Dubai for an overseas investor is a little challenge because India especially, you need to have your presence over there. So buying an off plan is the easiest bet for them because they can remit the money easily. And right now the developers are coming up with good payment plan options, slight better discounts on the pricing. So this is a good time. So I think investment overall, if you see the dynamics of investments are very simple. Warren Buffett quote, and it's a fantastic quote that when others are greedy, you have to be watchful. And
when others are watchful,
you have to be greedy. So it's the same. Don't sit on the fence right now. This is the time to act.
Yeah.
Especially if you are usually when the markets are going up, people are like, we'll wait. When the market is going down, people are like, we'll wait. So when do you want to do it?
All right. I think last week, few days back, the ceasefire was in place. Hopefully it stays in place. But the Q1 of 2026, basically Jan and Feb, most of it is collected in that, recorded 176.7 billion dirhams in property sales, an almost 23.5% increase year on year. Despite the conflict running through most of the quarter, January alone was the single highest month in Dubai real estate history. I remember I made a video that in the first 4 days of Dubai, sales was roughly about 2 billion or 3 billion dirhams, like every day. If you go to see it, that's the transaction that was happening. So is the recovery real, or are we just watching this pent up transactions clearing up?
No, so I'll tell you, majority of the transactions that happened in the month of March during the conflict were of course deals that were done earlier, where the registrations took place in March. Okay. The volumes of course reduced during the month of March for fresh buying because it was very new, the conflict. Nobody knew what's happening. It's new for everybody. Even people who are living in the UAE for 25, 30, 40 years, they never faced this situation. So the volumes have reduced drastically for the month of March. Now I'll give you a simple example. This is probably a general data that I was talking to somebody about hotel occupancy. In the March, it fell to probably 10, 11, 12%. But now in April, it has again increased to 37%. So imagine just one word of ceasefire and the occupancy is again started. So people are watchful, but at the same time, the way UAE has handled I was there almost for the whole month. I was there in the prime conflict zone and we did not feel anything. We were working as normal. Our offices were open. Okay, we just had to be a little watchful in terms of alerts given by the government, because of course you are seeing drones flying over your head. It's not everyday thing. But otherwise, we were operating like very normal and just being a little cautious. That's it. So, as I said, the rebound is not going to happen immediately. It is going to gradually happen. But our business perspective, we are filled with inquiries right now that they are interested and they are waiting for a good project or an opportunity. I used to funnily joke to a lot of my relatives who used to check on me. I just stopped watching Indian news channel. Everything is fine.
They get worried, no yaar. And how are they going to get their ratings otherwise? In between, the government had stopped TRP ratings.
Yeah.
Because everyone was just covering, going mad about this, that I want to be on the number one, I want to be on the number. The government stopped. Like they wanted to put an end to this nonsense.
It was nonsense, to be honest. We used to see it from Dubai and I'm like, what the hell? Like literally AI usage of drones hitting Burj Khalifa. And I said, my office is right next to Burj Khalifa. Where is the drone? And funny images. You'd want to laugh, honestly. And I used to tell my relatives literally, I said, please, if you want to know about Dubai, what's happening, just message me directly. Don't send me links of Indian media channels.
This question is about supply. There has been a lot of buzz saying that, there has been a lot of supply in properties in Dubai. Now, there are certain estimates. UBS estimates over 110,500. 110,500 new residential units entering the Dubai market in 2026 against a 10-year average of 27,000. Should the clients be worried about this?
See, now when we usually talk to our clients, the worst conservative number that we give our clients for rentals
Yeah,
is 5%.
yeah,
We've been always, very straightforward about that.
yeah.
So if you've been told that on handover we'll rent out your unit and you'll get 10%, 12%, 14%, 15%, you have to worry because you fell for the speculation. But if you're being told that 5% is the worst that you can make, they don't have to worry, you'll still make 5%. If you've done your calculations thinking that okay, I'll pay 40% on 60, I'll hand on the handover, I'll flip the property and all that, then you have fallen for the trap. But if you knew that no, I've invested for a longer horizon, you don't need to worry. Even in today's time, I'm seeing in prime locations like downtown, Marina, Palm, the rental return in the worst time is 5% right now. So even if I'm finding a rental apartment right now which is available at a good price, on the value that you invested, you will make 5%. But yes, if you were thinking that of the flipping thing which was very prominent during the last 2-3 years, सर आप ये ले लो मैं फ्लिप करके दूंगा, ये सब वो फ्लिप करने वाले सब अभी खुद ही फ्लिप हो गए. I feel sorry for those people honestly who bought with this perspective. And I've seen that in like I get calls from the clients to sell that okay I bought this because somebody told me कि सर ये 40% बढ़ जाएगा 50% बढ़ जाएगा, अब मेरे पास पैसे नहीं भरने, I don't have the money to pay the balance amount to the developer, what should I do? Then those are the people who sell at 20-30% minus price. It's unfortunate, but that's a fact.
But what are the promises that has been made to them at the time of buying, and by whom?
So, of course, there are a lot of unregistered brokers who have got into the fancy business of real estate thinking that within a year their fortunes will change, which does not happen. Are we fools to slog ourselves for 10 years and then come to this level? But so, speculation sold was you pay 40%, which is the payment plan, and on handover, we'll flip it for you. And the project is going to be ready in 2.5 years. That does not happen. Other was give it for short term rentals and you'll make anywhere between 10 to 15%. That does not happen. Third was you pay 20%, I'll flip it for you in 1 year's time. That does not happen. So anybody who bought a property in Dubai, forget about Dubai, anywhere probably, thinking that you will be able to flip that property in 1 year's time, that's total nonsense. It does not happen. It's not that market. It only happens for the investors who are based in UAE, who have the cash in hand, who know that the opportunity will come and they will put the money immediately and then they can flip in 6 months, 1 year. But for an overseas investor who is going into an under construction property, for them flipping is a nightmare. And I think this majorly happens because see, when you're working for a developer, of course there's a pressure to sell. Okay, so under pressure you might commit anything to a client, which is unrealistic. And most of the clients being international, usually, see the transactional transparency is there in Dubai. They don't have to worry about payments not going to the developer, the work not completing on time. All those things are taken care of. So that's why they trust the word that the person says that, okay, he's from Dubai and he's saying that, so it will happen. But it does not happen. So unregistered brokers, a lot of new recruits who just jumped into the real estate bandwagon thinking that, yes, I'm going to make a lot of money in a very short span of time. Those are the people who really committed too many things to their clients, and I think the clients are suffering right now. But if you've gone through a reputed consultant who has advised you not to buy also, which rarely people do over there, all those clients don't have to worry. As one that again the handover thing you're talking about. So see, usually the projection of Dubai government was that every year we are expecting 100,000 new people to come to UAE, roughly. Okay, 120,000. And that's where the population is also growing. Now the population has crossed 4 million. When I went to Dubai in 2015, it was roughly around 2.1 million. So the population has doubled in almost 10 years. Okay, so they are right on the track in terms of the projections. Of course, this is a temporary crisis. No crisis is permanent. Okay, so there will be a little shortfall in terms of probably not a lot of new people would be moving to Dubai this year. But it's only a matter of this year. No? And if you have the capacity to absorb the shock for this year, you don't have to worry. But yes, if...
You're talking about people moving. When I came to the office last, to our Standard Chartered, right?
Jan.
In Jan, when I came to our downtown office, I'd spoken to this lady. I forgot her name. She had moved
Jovita,
from UK.
UK. September she moved.
Yeah, she had moved just recently. I was there in
Yeah.
Jan, and she had just moved in
Yes.
September. And what is the status with her? Is she still there? She gone?
She's there. She's working pretty fine.
And she had a family, right?
Yeah. Kids, husband, in-laws, everybody.
They all moved to Dubai.
They're still living in Dubai.
So they've not moved out.
See, not many people. See, I understand if out of panic you moved out of the country because safety is always first. But I would say majority of the people who left for safety reasons, a lot of them have come back also because they've understood that UAE is quite capable enough of handling any crisis, and that's the reason again you see the traffic. I'll tell you, when I used to go to the office, it used to take me half an hour. During the crisis, literally 10-15 minutes I was in the office. And now again it's taking me 30-40 minutes to reach the office. So schools have opened again and people have started coming back. So only people who had very little resistance to panic had moved out of safety reasons, but otherwise a lot of people, Asians especially, they were still there. I think our tolerance level is quite higher than
Indians especially.
Indians. So Indians are opportunists. They were waiting, arey, this is the time to get into it. So yeah.
So where should capital go and where should capital not go?
I think the capital should always go in a renowned developer's project. Any developer who's new, even last time, remember we had spoken this, that I'm not saying that developers who are 2 years in the market are bad developers. But they will take a couple of more years to become a brand, and then their actual returns on the property or the beauty of the project will be seen. But somebody who's been established for the last 10-15 years, I don't see any challenge in terms of getting into their projects. Again, whether it is a government developer or a semi-government developer or a prominent private developer, it all boils down to, at the time of buying the property, what has been explained to you.
Or does it even matter what product is the individual selling or buying?
It does not matter. That is what I'm telling you. It is not about the location. It is not about the project. It is not about the developer. It's how you have bought or how it has been sold to you. It purely depends on that.
So tell me, there is one more interesting piece of data that I have, right, which is talking about the supply end. There is 66% of incoming supply is in studios and one-bedroom apartments. 45% of the under construction stock sits in only 5 locations: JVC, JVT, Dubai South, MBR City, Business Bay, and Dubai Land. So is there any kind of a oversupply in this location, or is there oversupply in a city level problem or a micro location problem? Is there an oversupply problem?
There is an oversupply problem location specific. It is not about the city. Okay, see, already if you see downtown, Palm Jumeirah, Marina, all the prime locations are completely full right now. So very, very limited launches come in these kind of areas. So you have to go down south now. You have to go in Dubai Land where there's a lot of land parcels available. So right now what has happened is, like for an example, JVC. Earlier, 4-5 years back, of course, we used to consider JVC as a good location. It is still a good location, but I think that it has reached its optimum level because a lot of units are coming up. Almost, I think if I'm not mistaken, this year almost 30,000-40,000 units are coming in JVC itself. So there's a lot of internal competition. So that's where the rentability gets affected.
So it's a mature market.
It's a mature market.
It's matured now.
Yes. So now you won't get any major capital appreciation in terms of a new project coming in over there. But yeah, if you like the area because the access is pretty good, again, long-term rental growth, 5-7%, very gradual capital appreciation, that's it. Now that speculation point in JVC has gone. New areas like Dubai Land, Dubai South, where the government is pumping in a lot of money, where we are advising our clients to put a lot of money, thinking 5 to 10 years. I have bought a property in Dubai South myself. My clients have recently, during the conflict, bought in that location. And purely that logic is that, Manoj, we just want to keep this property. We want to rent it out. We don't want to sell it also on handover. We don't want to sell it for the next 10-15 years. If this is the horizon, then Dubai South is the best location because the government is pumping in a lot of money. And you are still getting an affordable entry point pricing. Like in today's time, the pricing, you cannot get a good 1-bedroom in $1 million dirhams in Dubai right now with a good developer. But Dubai Land, Dubai South, these are the locations where you'll get an entry point opportunity because it is yet to develop. And in the next 4, 5, 6 years, you will see a lot of development coming over there in terms of the infrastructure. I'm not talking about the area development. I'm talking about infrastructure, growth opportunities, job potential, a lot of commercial activities happening around that area in the next 4 to 5 years. So you will see the actual beauty of that location in the next 4, 5, 6 years.
So it's not just the apartments are being built, there is an entire infrastructure, entire lifestyle, entire businesses which are being set around that micro market.
Absolutely, absolutely. And majority. That is the reason because Dubai South is very prominent right now because the airport is coming. I mean, it's already operational, but it's going to be the biggest airport in the world. So it will take another 3, 4 years. So around the airport, when there's a huge airport like this, the employment will be created. Major airlines will be shifting their bases over there. So there's a logic behind it. It's not that the government is putting money blindly in a particular location. They have a vision in their head. I'm just abiding by their vision. Or the prominent developers are just abiding by their vision. That yes, and we are following the main leaders over there. Simple. They are putting the money in the desert. They have a vision in their heads which they are executing beautifully. So we are just following them. But yes, if I tell you that you invest in Dubai South now and after 2 years you exit at a 40-50%, then that's wrong. This is what the problem is for Dubai market right now.
The other asset type, which is about the luxury villas, they are projecting 8 to 12% of year-on-year growth in the pricing. While at the same time, these mid-market apartments, these studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedroom apartments, they are facing 5 to 10% corrections in oversupplied pockets. That's what the prediction is. For someone sitting on capital right now, who's not sure about the timing, what segment would be the best place for that person to put their long-term conviction?
I think villa investment or a townhouse investment is definitely better than apartment if the pockets are deep. Because if you see the average pricing for a townhouse in Dubai in today's time is roughly around 3 million. Normal 4 bedroom townhouses.
3 million dirhams.
Dirhams, yes.
Which is roughly about what, 7.5 crores?
7.5 crores roughly. Or maybe $800,000 roughly.
Okay.
And the villa, average independent villa pricing starts from roughly around 6 to 7 million dirhams. The major reason is because the supply of villa and townhouses are relatively limited than apartments. And if you see the migration that happens from the wealthy countries to Dubai, so majority of these people want to buy bigger houses. They don't like to be in the apartments. So that is the reason the villa market is still pretty good because the supply is limited. Not many phases are coming up. So there will always be a decent demand. And so villa market is highly driven by a community aspect in terms of every villa community comes with different features. Some lagoons, some golf courses, some polo, some stables. So the dynamics of villa properties are very different. And for a person who has a capital, why not go for something which is nice? So villa is definitely recommended if the pockets are deep.
Then what about those people who are looking to buy apartments? Someone whose pocket is not that deep. What about them? What should they be targeting towards?
No, so as I told you the Dubai South story, remember that if let's say your budget is say $500,000, then you get into a location which is upcoming.
How many dirhams is $500,000?
1.8 million dirhams roughly.
Let's catch 1 million dirham as a starting point for someone, which is for an Indian buyer is around
2.5 crores.
2.5 crores, and for an international buyer, USD is what are we looking
$300,000.
at? $300,000.
Then I think in this aspect, if it's an investment opportunity, investment idea, then definitely get into an upcoming location. Because stable, already established location, you won't find this price. So get into something where the government is pumping a lot of money. So Dubai South is ideal, Dubai Land is ideal, or something which is which has a good feature, like probably the water canal is coming somewhere, something of that
What
sort.
about Dubai Island?
Dubai Island is another, but again, Dubai Island you don't get anything for 1 million because it's already established, and it's anything which is near the ocean will always have a premium pricing.
So let me put a scenario in front of you. If you had a 2-bedroom apartment, which is on Dubai Island, completely sea view, sea facing, with one of the reputed developers. And then another scenario, you are getting a townhome at the 3.5 million. So if we take a $3.5 million apartment, which is right at the seafront, or a 3.3 or $3.5 million villa townhome, which is away in one of these areas, one of these upcoming areas, where would you want to put our client in such a scenario?
See,
Capital appreciation is the game.
but see, in this, so it's basically the comparison is very similar because the story behind both the investment is quite similar. If you see, for an example, oceanfront is always a premium. And if you historically see, like the beachfront of MR, the prices are doubled in 5 years, 6 years. Okay. So Dubai Island in today's time has not reached that price point per square feet. So there's there's a potential of reaching it to that price point. Even in the villas and the townhouses, the prices in certain communities have doubled, tripled also. So it's only then it comes to a matter of choice. It can be Dubai Island Sea View or it can be a townhouse. The dynamics are similar for both. Then it comes to boils down to the choice, whether the client prefers a townhouse or he prefers an apartment, because the backward calculation is similar for both.
Okay. What about rental income over a period of time when it comes to both of these assets?
The townhouse can get you a stable long-term rentals because you usually rent it out for 1 year and above. Oceanfront properties can get you short-term income as well. You don't need to rent it out for 1 year. But again, it has to be very efficiently managed. Because ocean facing would come next to a tourist attraction or a port or something. So if you are somebody who can play around quite efficiently with short-term managing, oceanfront is always a better option. But if you prefer something which is stable and you don't want to get into the hassle of managing it, then the townhouse is always better. So it's very different. It's very, very different for both the things. But if you want a stable long-term income in terms of rental, then I think a townhouse, because a lot of families are coming in. So townhouse is always better because people are looking for a bigger space now. That's another, misinformation that people fall into, where the size, they focus on the price. They don't focus on what size they are getting against that price. It's very important to know, if you're getting a 500 square feet, one bedroom for 1.2, 1.3 million dirhams, it's absolutely not worth it.
Okay.
It's like a glorified studio, in my opinion.
Reason why I was asking you about this is because rental yields in Dubai, we very conservatively tell our clients
5%.
around 5%.
5%, yes.
But the average across the board, which is there in Dubai, is at 7%.
7, roughly.
That is the average that
Yes.
comes up from the studies and everything,
Yes.
all the information which is available. This is actually double of what you get in London or what you get in New York. We both know that number gets kind of used as a sales tool whenever you are presenting people. But to be honest to our audience, is this yield real after you factor in the geopolitical scenario, which is now going to be one of the norms? It's going to be stuck in the minds of the people. Currency exposure is a lot of talk, which is, moving away from dollar-backed currencies. And then also the risk of delivery based on the off-plan projects, which is majority of the sales, almost 70% of the sales in Dubai market is all in off-plan.
Recently,
Yeah. So what is your take on this 7% number?
See, the reason we give a 5% calculation to the investors is as the worst case calculation. Even during COVID lasted longer than this conflict. This conflict is hopefully about to get over very soon. COVID lasted for almost
2 years.
5-6 months globally on a very conservative 5-6 months, I'm saying.
The effects of COVID actually lasted for at least 12 to 18 months here.
But in UAE it
Phase
was
1 and phase 2.
in UAE it was 5-6 months because we were operational in the month of May itself. But again, from a rental perspective, now when you talk about London, New York, let's say 5%, that is still gross. Then the taxes get cut, maintenance, XYZ, everything gets cut. So it's very low, literally 3.5%. When Dubai 5 is the worst case calculation in any project. Even if you pick up a project which is on the outskirts, say the developer is not renowned, you will still make 5%. That's what we have observed. Now in the future, what will happen? See, again, we are talking about what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen, first of all. But if you buy anything with a worst case calculation in your head, you are better prepared to face the challenge. But I personally believe out of my 11 years of experience over there, I think in worst case scenario, you'll make 5% still, which is still better than a lot of other capital markets.
Do you think this conflict is going to be there in the memories of people for a longer period of time, and this will eventually affect a lot of things that are based in Dubai?
I don't think so. I have my entire life based in Dubai, so there are thousands of people, lakhs of people like me who have made Dubai their home. So I personally don't see this being engraved in their heads for a longer time.
What about the expat community? People who have come from Europe, from Oceania, from like Hong Kong, China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and US, UK, Canada, France. What about all of those people? Latin America.
But remember, in our last, so I'll tell you, whoever asked me about moving to UAE, I always tell them one simple thing. If you have the capacity to survive in the UAE without any income for 1 year when you move, after bearing all the expenses, you will never go wrong. So if you're moving to Dubai or UAE in general, you need to have that backup in terms of your yearly expenses for the first year. Till you find a job, till you settle down yourself. If you do not have that backup, I would refrain from going to Dubai or UAE, anywhere probably. But okay, it's just the bad timing. If suppose like Jovita, for an example, she came in September, this happened. So of course it's struggle right now. But if she had come with an horizon that, okay, I need a 1 year backup, I don't think anybody would have a problem. People are still going to come. See, whether people agree, whether people don't agree, Dubai is still safe when it comes to the overseas economy, the other countries. I've been to London personally, I've been to other countries also, and I would always prefer Dubai rather than living over in these places, safety wise also.
There are 3 institutions. All 3 of them have different analysis about the Dubai market. Fitch says this is a hot market due for a cooling phase. UBS says the supply volume as the primary risk. Cushman and Wakefield says the market is recalibrating. It is not overheating. It is recalibrating. What do you think is the closest to what you are actually seeing on the ground from these 3?
I think it's a cooling off period right now.
Okay.
That's what I see. I don't see. If you see in these 3 reports, nobody said that don't do it.
No, they don't report
Yeah,
on
but
that.
I'm
No,
just-
they're
everybody
not
said-
advisors.
Everybody has said that it's a cooling off period. So any market, there will be. See, anything that goes up has to come down. So overall, if you see, that's what's happening right now.
I will ask you this question, and to make it concrete for the audience, one asset type, one area in Dubai, and a time horizon. Where should we be putting capital right now? One asset type. Answer that, please.
See, one asset type, again, I would not, restrict myself to an asset type. I would talk about location.
That is next.
So asset type, yes, I would say if you have deep pockets, villa, definitely.
Okay. So preference is villa.
Definitely.
Location.
Affordable segment, Dubai South, 100%.
And the villa?
Similar area. Villa can be either on the Palm Jebel Ali also, because that's the future. So of course the pricing will be different, but villa anywhere in Dubai in today's time is recommended.
And in the affordable area, you would say?
Dubai South, Dubai Land.
Okay. And a time horizon. How long to hold it?
5 to 10 years.
5, 10, 7.5. Which one is it? 5 is double of 10. Now 10 is double of 5.
Usually I to advise 10 years, but you will see a decent amount of growth in the next 5 years also.
Okay. So risky is 5 years, conservative is 10 years.
Yes. But isn't that real estate investment supposed to be?
Real estate across the board is supposed to be a long-term game.
Exactly.
I keep on
I don't
crying every
underst-
time, all the time. What you're talking, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. I
Exactly.
get so many people in Mumbai, in all of these other places where there are bidding wars going on for land piece. I was like, if you're having a bidding war, sell it. But if the bidding war now is this much, imagine 10 years down the road, hold on to it. Now, what's the big deal?
Exactly. But that's how it's supposed to be, right?
People want to make quick money, na? They want to be sitting down on the on the dining table and crying and bragging about themselves and saying, मैंने तो एक रात में इतना पैसा कमाया. In one night, I made $1 million. That's the kind of things that they want to talk about. But that's it's like the stories that you hear of one Sachin Tendulkar, but not the 1,000 people who have come before him. It's that one guy who made it. He's the god of cricket. He's put in so many time, years, efforts, the age
Exactly.
of 3, 4, 5 years. You hear just these stories. You don't hear the failures.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's what we want to bring forward. You also mentioned earlier in the podcast itself, saying that we've been doing this for the last decade. Nobody talks about the things that we have dealt with. The first year, you have told me so many times, there
Yeah.
was not a single deal.
Yeah.
There were years that we've gone beyond deals. There are months that I have gone without deals, where deals have come out of registration offices. Nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to hear that thing. But that is the true reality. Anyways, let's not talk about all of that.
No, no. Long term, long term, long term, long term. Please buy through whoever you want, long term.
Last question. What is this regular thing that you hear from all of our clients asking right now? That the market or that people are not answering honestly. One question that you want to answer honestly for all the clients that have been asking the same question again and again and again.
Ooh, there are many actually. Not
Tell me
one.
three.
One is, see, nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. First of all,
What is the question? What do people ask you?
that is the market going to correct more?
Okay.
That is one thing. Nobody can predict that beyond a point. We're not superhumans, unfortunately. I wish we were, but not.
What is the answer you give them? This? We are not
Straightforward.
superhumans.
No, see, the answer is very simple. That why did you buy it?
Okay.
Why did you buy the property in the first place? Did somebody force you? No, right? You bought it for investment. How are investments supposed to be done? Long term. Now, if you did the short term investment, sorry, but it's your fault.
You know what I feel like telling sometimes to people? The child in me, the one who wants to do masti all the time. It's like, wait 1 second, sir. Let me order some tarot cards from Amazon. We'll sit right next to each other. You touch the thing, you flip it over, and then we'll split it and we'll put it there. And I'll get a tarot card reader, and they will tell you what is going to happen to your property.
I was thinking of installing a crystal ball.
Abracadabra.
क्या होने वाला है इस लोकेशन का? No, but again, see, and it happens so regularly nowadays. The clients are more interested in speculation. Unfortunately, if you're a seasoned investor, just buy for a long-term perspective. That answers everything. It answers everything. None of the clients who bought it 5 years, 10 years back are panicking or asking about what's going to happen. Where is the market? It's only the people who were sold wrongly are panicking right now.
What's the second question people ask? You say so many questions. What's the second?
Oh my God, pass back. Kickbacks. I would feel like giving a kickback to them
What
only.
is the concept? First, please explain to those people who don't know that.
So basically, a lot of clients are more interested in knowing what the broker is earning out of the transaction rather than understanding what they're getting against it. And unfortunately, our so-called fellow colleagues who are, unprofessional, sir, I'll give you 3% back, I'll give you 4% back. And then they block them on WhatsApp. And the client is just, they ghost them. And the client is also running around polls to polls. कि इसने मेरा पैसा नहीं दिया, ये नहीं दिया, वो नहीं दिया. So it's legally not allowed, first of all. How much am I making is none of your concern. You see what value I bring to the table. So this kickback thing is a big pain right now for a lot of good agents. And we are also going through that. But it's okay. If you don't want to work with us, out of sincere humility, no problems at all. It's fine. We will find our audience.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kickback, please stop it if you want to. Please, please, please.
What is the third question?
That's quite...
Can I say one?
Yeah, because I
How much below is this from the original price? What is the distress deal? What is the
Oh,
discount?
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That is something like it is nowadays. Nowadays, imagine people who are never going to buy a property also are messaging me. अच्छा discount कितना मिलेगा? I know he's never going to buy.
They need no. These are the people who want to be sitting on the dinner table, come across as the smart chacha of the dinner table, where he knows everything when he knows nothing. This is very normal. I go for so many dinner parties. Matlab, reluctantly, don't really feel like going anymore. But whenever I go, the moment they see my face, the conversation is, oh, what's going on with Dubai? Hey, what's the market? Is Mumbai really doing well? There's so much supply. Ah, yes, there is supply. The bottom line among all of this is just very simple. Someone who wants to buy
He will buy. He or she will
buy at the price that they can buy a property for. As brokers, we do our due diligence, whether it's Mumbai, whether it's Dubai, we do our due diligence. We advise the sellers. We were just talking outside.
Yeah.
Just randomly we were talking about how sellers come to me, to you, and they come at a certain price of X dirhams, X rupees, and then we say, no, this is overpriced. We can't take this up. The other brokers very nicely, yeah, we can get you this price. It's very much true. The market is really, we're doing well. It's really hot. And, things will sell very quickly. 3 months, 4 months down the road, 6 months down the road, the same owner comes back to me and tells me, Ravi, it's not sold. I was like, but what about that broker who gave you that big, tall commitment? Oh, he's nowhere to be seen. He's got 0 clients. He's got 1 client. And in the last 3 months, he's not even reverted back or not said anything. It was like, now can we have a realistic conversation?
Yeah.
Please, without wasting your and my time. That's when the truth comes out and that's when we get the soul. But what they do not understand even then is that a property, when it comes out in the market fresh for the first time listing, it's like a beautiful fresh cake coming out of the oven early in the morning. But the same cake, people are lining up for that cake in the morning. But the same cake in the evening is going at 50% discount because there are no takers for it. And if you are an internationally renowned brand with strict procedures and rules, if you are not able to sell it by the end of the day, it goes in the trash. And the new stock comes again the next day.
Too many chefs spoil the cake also. But too many brokers also spoil the cake.
Oh, that is so even ridiculous. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that. Thank you very much, Mr. Solanki. This was fun. Did you have fun?
Yes.
All right. Be safe. No matter what the ceasefire might bring, please be safe.
Yes.
All right.
We are absolutely safe and sound, and please invest long term. It's a hand-folded request. Don't fall for speculations on social media. Just be realistic.
Watch out for the drones hitting Burj Khalifa going toing, 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 toing.
God. कल तक परसों तक मत देखो भाई. सब नॉर्मल है. It will be normal. Things will be fine. Don't worry.